Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026. Welcome to the era of spiritually conscious living. That is the intention for this millennium, among other things. Now, 2026 marks the beginning, the first year of the 226 major universal time cycle. It also marks the beginning, the first year of an 81-year universal time cycle under the direction of the number 9. And of course, it is also a calendar year cycle, so under the direction of the number 1. And so what we have is we have a one directive calendar year within the one directive major universal cycle of 9 years. So we're really being pushed to start off this major cycle with everything that the number 1 offers us and expects from us. So the other thing I'd like to point out is that we're about in the middle of a 22-4 master influence. Now, from 1980 to 2069, we have the 22 master active in every major universal cycle within these years. I see the 22-4 master, when it is lived as an experience, I see that as the most challenging of experiences, because there is so much going on up here and so much that wants to be accomplished, so many ideas, so much good, so many good intentions, esoteric intentions. There's that strong spiritual influence of the 2, and this master number expects all that to be packaged in the matter-of-fact, grounding, organised structure of the 4, so that it can be utilised in the physical world. And so even that, you can see how challenging that is. In addition to that, there is a lot of opposition. So you've always got someone or something opposing that. And so, master numbers challenge you just as strongly with the opportunities that they offer you. And the opportunities that come with the 22-4 master is enormous. It's extraordinary, because what it says is, if you live by the expectations of what I expect from you with this number, well, then you can achieve, this is what it's saying to the world, to humanity, to leaders, well, then you can achieve what is considered as unachievable. Now, in the past 26 years from 1999, we have been in transition. Now, let's understand these universal time cycles are for humanity, for the world. This is what sits in the background to your own personal cycles of time. They are the platform that launch our own personal platforms for the life that we are currently living. So it's very important that we understand what they require from us and what they are offering us. As I mentioned earlier, we have been since 1999 in transition between the past millennium and the past century cycle, both directed by the number 1. So, and now, these 26 years, we can see the confusion. We can see how some didn't want to let go of the assertive power and authority that at times was wielded more aggressively than assertively. And so this is what's been there, and there has been a lot of confusion. We've seen leaders want to hold on to that power and authority that this transition, these transitory 26 years, were asking us to bring that, the courage, to bring the innovation, to bring the assertiveness, to bring the foresight of the number one, the ability, the intellectual creative ability of that one, to bring it and blend it with what we're moving into and what we are fully into as of this year, 2026. Okay, so a lot of confusion, and you can see that that's been played out. The other thing that we've witnessed is a society very unlike what it was pre-1999. With this to millennium, there is, on the negative aspect, we can see that where it is intended for equality, this equality has been seen and has been activated as a desecration of individuality and a push for sameness, where you almost feel like you have to be the same as everybody else and not rock the boat. That it's almost like if your views do not comply with the expectations of this sameness that we are being pushed to adopt and to adapt towards, that and that's the reality of it. And so it's not about sameness. It's about maintaining that individuality. Having the respect for people, for individuals, for their own uniqueness, and at the same time blending it with the qualities of the two, in which we are fully immersed now. And this is, the life is really quite simple, but we have made it extraordinarily difficult, and it's because of this taking what is offered to us and living it in the negative and turning it into something that it is not intended. And so you've heard of the shift over the past 10 years. There's been a lot of talk about the shift. Well, we're on the other side. So we've had 26 years of transitioning, so now we're on the other side. And so this millennium is intended, the mandate for this millennium is intended for peace and harmony, for accord, not discord. And I can see that some of you are laughing because you think what I'm saying is a joke. Others of you are crying because you know that this is what is expected from us, but we're not seeing it mirrored in the world. We're not seeing it mirrored in society. Look at the world cycle mandates as reaching a destination. So you get in your car, you decide to visit a friend. Okay, so your intention is to get to that destination. How you get there, whether you take the tollway, whether you take a little road, is up to you, but you will arrive at your destination. Now, the mandates for these universal time cycles are as such. The mandate for this millennium is that we arrive at a time in humanity where peace and harmony prevail, where a sharing of resources prevail, where it's more about cooperation It's more about getting on with others. That's the mandate. It's about having consideration for others as much as ourselves. It's about getting in touch with our sensitivity, with the sensitivity of this number 2, and also looking at the sensitivity that is in others and adjusting our meter when we speak with another. So it's about bringing in the qualities that leaders of the past, and some are still struggling to hold on to, considered not as leadership qualities, not as qualities of authority. Okay, so these are qualities of kindnesses, courtesies, tact, diplomacy. These are all the qualities that will get us through and that will make living a joy, and that brings us the success. We don't have to struggle for it. But as you can see, when you look at society, we are viewing, what we are seeing is the opposite to all these qualities that are intended, that are scripted into the platform for this millennium cycle under the direction of the number 2. Now, what are the things that can stop us from achieving? Because sometimes when these things are spoken, when these challenges are spoken, when they are written, we tend to take more notice than what we are led to believe, and it empowers us to know, well, what is going to challenge humanity? What is going to challenge the world from us achieving this, from us living like this in the peace and harmony and the light of this number 2 directive? Ask the question. We need to bring back critical thinking. Ask the questions of yourself. Is this really equality, or what's behind it? Ask the questions if you want to know the truth. Ask the questions. And then you can respond to what life brings you. You can respond within this framework of what we're seeing with a lot more courage and more empowerment, and the assertiveness of the number 1, which will be very active for the next 9 years within the qualities of the 2. They might agree with you. They might say yes to you. And I'm speaking generally here in the society where this covert sense of which comes from fear is, I don't want to upset you, so I'm going to agree with you, and then I'm going to go ahead and do exactly what I want anyway. And so this is another thing that we need to be aware of, okay? So, and how do we do that? How do we handle that? We do it by an inclusive authority, an inclusive leadership, and that's whether you are at the family table or whether you are at the table of United Nations. And so you can say, well, look, I've looked at this situation, and I believe that I know how we can get through this, but I really want to know what you think about this. I'd really, like your opinion about this. And so when you use your authority, your power within any situation in this way, by including others, well, then they feel that they are valued. And of course, you need to do this genuinely with integrity. Okay, you can't do it as let me just do this so I can get this. It has to be genuine. And so, this is how it's done, by including others. And so governments need to start listening to what people want, to what their citizens want. And there's in the negative aspects of the 2, and again, what can stop us from living the beautiful qualities of peace and harmony and spirit and light. There's there's that indecision. And again, that indecision can be linked with a lack of accountability, because it's like, okay, well, I don't want to make this decision if it goes against what the majority are coming up with. And we can see this across the board. Okay, so there's a loss in details. And, there are so many little laws that are coming in that are being brought in, so many little laws. And so then, things get lost in the details again, and then it further adds to the indecision. There's a fear of the opinion of other people. And so that comes with the lack of courage to move forward, to step up and say, hey, this is what I believe in, and I respect that you might not believe what I believe in, but let's find a way through this. And this is where the love and the light comes in, because we are compelled to love, and with love, by love on a universal level, comes the do no harm. Want the good that you want for yourself, for others. But at the same time, we are not compelled to like. So you can disagree with things that person does. So there's that difference. And in me explaining this, I hope that it makes forgiveness a little more doable, even if not easier, knowing the love, universal love, and the like, the differences. Okay. Several weeks ago, I watched an interview on the ABC's 7:30 report. I watched Sarah Ferguson interview Joshua Bengio, who is one of the founders of AI. And one of the questions that she asked was, does AI have the capacity to deceive, to cheat? And his reply was that during experiments that they have done, that yes, it does. And it is encoded with such intelligence that AI can pretend to agree with the human instructor that is instructing it, and then it will do what it wants. It will do what it wants. It can be, even if it is shut down, even if AI is shut down by its human instructors, by the people that built this self, it will not shut down, that it will infiltrate itself in other computers. And there was also is there only one AI? That was another question. And again, that is no, there can be more, because they relate to others and they can team up with others on the internet, other forms of AI, but it is all AI. And now, why am I speaking about this? Well, it is very important, and you can see here why the emphasis and why we need to be aware of this underhandedness and this covert power that is in the far extreme negative of this number 2. It's clearly visible in the answers that this founder of AI has given. You can see it. You can see the underhandedness in this AI. And I found this very disturbing. When as I was listening, I thought, this is scary stuff. Now, I must also say that this scientist has done a turnaround, because he was one of the ones a few years ago, one of the scientists a few years ago who said, let's stop this, because it's just proceeding too quickly. Let's stop with AI for a while. It's just moving too quickly. And he said that he looked at his young grandson and he wondered, will he have a world? What kind of life will he find 20 years from now? And that's what made him turn around and try to fix this problem. And when Sarah Ferguson asked, what is the worst case scenario? And this is what scared me the most, because he said human extinction. And this is why now he's trying to turn things around. And again, you know, this is a perfect example of the underhandedness and the covert wielding of power when this directive is lived in extreme negativity. Because, you know, I'm forever the optimist. I don't believe in doom and gloom, and so I can always see the positive. I can always see the good in everything, and things can be turned around. And then that little voice said to me, but hey, AI was created by human intelligence, and human intelligence is insurpassable. And so this is what gives me the hope and the knowing, and the brings back the peace that this can be reined in and turned around, because the intelligence, the intuitive guidance that created it can uncreate it, or can, if not uncreate it, but can handle it, can man it, can control it, and can turn it around so that it can be for the good of humanity, not for the destruction of humanity. So that's what I'd like you to take away from what I've told you from this, that we are so powerful, and we don't see this because we've been sold the opposite. And we are now living at a time in human consciousness where the world of spirit meets the world of matter. It's like it's a connection like we've never seen before, and this will become stronger and stronger. And I want you to focus on that. I want you to feel empowered by that divine aspect of you, by the divine element within you. I want you to feel empowered, because that's the reality. And so the invisible world is here, of course. It's here, just a different dimension. And so we are more guided. That the guidance that comes from the invisible world is so much stronger now than it was 26 years ago. And it's accessible. It's accessible by you, by me, by whoever wants to access it. And it is far, far more powerful, and it is a cosmic intelligence, and it's far, far more powerful than these technological things. Remember that they have been created by human intelligence. Remember that. Just let's talk a little bit about 2026, because it's under the direction of the number one. So, of course, the number one is about new beginnings. It's about new beginnings within the established, and it's about bringing new things in. It's about courage. It's about foresight. It's about innovation. It's about assertiveness. Now, there's a difference between assertiveness and aggression. So assertiveness is what it is when you have the confidence to stand up and say, I disagree with you. Can you just speak about that a little bit more, and perhaps I'll get my head around it. But right now, I disagree with that. Okay, that's assertiveness. Okay, so this is what's directing this 2026 year, and these are also the qualities that are directing the next 9 years, because the next 9 years are of this major 226 major universal cycle is directed also by the number one. And so we've got 9 years in which to still have this courage, The one is one. It stands alone. It's about being unique. It's about being an individual. It's about individuation. It's about independence. And it is also about creative thinking. It's about creativity through our thinking, through our intellect. But it's going to allow us to create the support systems, to create and add to this platform so that we can ensure that peace and harmony and diplomacy and cooperation and sharing will be visible and will be expressed in this beautiful world that we call home. So you might be asking, what about your own personal cycles of experience? Now remember that world cycles form the platform from which you and I launch our own individual and personal lives, launch the life that we were born on the planet to live at this time. And for that I have written, because it's so important and there's so much there, I have written this book, The 9 Cycles of a Rich Life. Now this will take you through all 4 of your major cycles of time throughout your life, all 4 of your major challenges. What it does is it gives you the wisdom and knowledge to respond from your very best in order to get the best outcome possible. We have no control over what comes to us. You do not have the power to control what life brings you. How can you? It's already here. What comes to us it's already here. So how can we send it back? We cannot. So I'm going to ask you to please shift your focus to your response. When life brings you something challenging, something extremely difficult, allow the dust to settle and then strategize. And this book will allow you to come up with the best strategy so that you can respond from your very best and so receive the best outcome possible. The wisdom and the numeric precision with which I've written this book has the potential to guide you through every month of every year for the rest of your life, if you so choose. I have written this book, but I read it every month. I will open it and read it. I'm coming into a brand new year with my birthday in a few days, and so I will read the year, and then I will go to January, and then I will continue. Yes, I can do calculations in my head, but why do that when I've got it all written down? And the reading it just sort of adds to the power, to our empowerment, to our confidence to respond with love, not with fear. This book is available as an e-book from my website and in paperback form from your bookstore, or from your also from your online bookstore. And so I encourage you to respond from your very best, and this is a book that can help you do that. So once again, Happy New Year. My wish for you is for good health, well-being, and prosperity in abundance. Happy 2026.